Hey my loves, welcome back to another episode of 100% Lavish. Today I wanted to talk about how things resurface sometimes. What do you mean by that? So recently, y'all, when I say I've been in isolation for so long, like to the point where I don't really interact with people like that. And when I do, I be feeling off-centered sometimes. But I realized recently I've been getting into the flow of going to parties solo, interacting with people, gaining new knowledge, gaining new friends, and gaining new things like that. And a part of me realizing that I had a lot of feelings resurface. Now, when I'm saying resurface, I genuinely mean older feelings and shit that I put I thought I grew from and stuff, they started to hit me again. And a part of that, it started throwing me off because I'm like, what the hell? I thought I grew from that. And correct, I did grow from it. But what I also realized is that sometimes feelings do not resurface to throw you off or to hurt you. It's just to show you and let you acknowledge the triggers that you have. And oftentimes when you're isolated, people cannot hit those triggers because there is nothing around you to hit those triggers. So when you do start to get around people and start to interact with people, that's when things start to resurface and hit. But I also learned that the difference between before and now is that I'm more in control. But I feel like sometimes when I interact with people, I end up losing, I wouldn't say losing control, but I will say I end up altering certain things. And I realized that in life, you really overly firm on you. Don't get me wrong, I'm not changing the way that I speak. I'm not changing the way that I walk, talk, none of that. It's all going to remain the same because that's just who I am or whatever. But what I am saying is that recently I just been feeling a lot of feelings, and it's kind of just been throwing me off to the point where it's yeah, I had to go ground myself. Yeah, I had to go disappear from the world for a little minute. And it's nothing wrong. It's just I also realized that the universe will never give you something that you can't handle. But a part of your capacity, you have to make sure that you're not reaching max capacity. You have to constantly clear that energy out your vessel. You have to constantly cleanse yourself and remind yourself that yes, you will be tried, but that is not the end of everything. Not only that, I'm also realizing that a part of growth is those little tests, as well as learning more about yourself. I feel like this weekend I took the time to learn so much about myself, why I move the way that I do, even though me personally, I already knew when I was alone. But when you're around other people, you start to have different things resurface, like I said. So I learned more about myself, what triggers me, why I get triggered, and what makes me retract, what makes me stay in place, what makes me silence, what makes me, communicative, talkative. I've realized that the way that I am requires me to be matched on a deeper level than surface. I'm somebody who thinks deeply, I move deeply, I require deep responses, I require deeper people. And when I met with surface level people, that's when I start to feel off. There's nothing wrong with surface level people, but surface level people, I feel like surface level people need to interact with other people who are surface level, because when you're interacting with somebody with depth, a lot of things feels deeper to them. And recently I've been realizing that a lot of things feel deeper to me than what it really is. And due to that is because I am an intellectual thinker. I like to think deep. I like to go beyond surface level. So when I'm not understanding something, I will ask questions. When I'm not understanding something, or if I feel dismissed, I'm going to dismiss myself. I'm going to throw myself off and just be all right, cool, you good. Because one thing about me, I've realized that alignment feels different. Alignment isn't, there's so many different parts of alignment in the feelings within this world, in this realm, that I'm noticing. I've always felt alignment had to feel good all the time and this and that. No, alignment is literally you just staying on track and on path on what it is that you feel is required of you and what it is you feel like you need to do. And I realized that recently I got myself out of alignment, not making the balance between interaction, social life, as well as me personally, my spiritual life and my cleansing. That's where I fucked up. I was just too much around people to the point where when I reached max capacity, it was a breaking point for me. It was what the fuck, final straw, big bad wolf kind of thing. Everything just blew down because I was at max capacity. I was not only just at max capacity, but I also forgot to cleanse and just be alone for a little bit. People like me, I have to be alone throughout the week. I can't just be up under somebody all the fucking time. I can't do it. And I realized that I was allowing myself to get out of the flow of me being around people. And I caught it early. I caught it early because I'm like, girl, you done did this before. You done learned the lessons before. You know what it feels like. So because of that, remind yourself that yes, you can interact with people. Yes, you know how to be social. Yes, you know how to do all of those things. Correct. But I also had to remind myself that doing all those things, you need to find a balance within life. Find a balance within everything that is going on so that you can remain in your own frequency. I realized that it's not hard to get out your own frequency. And I realized that because my energy is so powerful, that when I am around other people, they step into my frequency. But with them stepping into my frequency, I also have to remind myself that other people can gravitate off of my frequency. They can use my frequency. And I have to realign myself back to my frequency and continue to raise my frequency, continue to pay attention to my frequency, and pay attention to the things that are throwing me off. But that's really just the message, that things will resurface, things will throw you off, but it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's just because you need to find a balance. You need to find that balance within spiritual life, life presently, people, and all that. And I feel like recently I've been allowing myself to be so present in the moment that I'm not realizing that I need space too. Like, of course, I've always known when something becomes too much. I've always known when to fall back. I've always known when something is out of place. But recently I've been feeling like I'm overly out of place. And the reason that I feel like that is because I have not allowed myself to create that distance for myself, to create the frequency that I want for myself, as well as being around people who understand that, as well as having deeper conversations than just surface level. Like, I realize what I require, what it is that I want. And I feel like it just all brings you out your comfort zone. Like, you really have to get out your comfort zone with this healing shit. Like, I realized that I'm going to always be met with trials and tribulations. I'm always going to be met with things, but that doesn't make me less, or that doesn't make the situation any less, you know? I'm just very aware of everything. And because I'm aware of everything, I need to find a balance within self so that I'm good. But yeah, I just learned more about myself this weekend, and I just wanted to talk about it because the energy was a little weird for me this whole week. Like, it's just been weird shit back to back, but I have found my grounding point. I have also figured out what triggered me, why it triggered me, how to move based off of that, and how to show up continuously. Like, I realized that you don't have to be perfect. You don't always have to know everything to say. You just got to show up. And that's just the message today. So thank you for tuning into 100% Lavish. Know that I love you, God loves you, and stay blessed.